Hello students. In today's class we are going to discuss question answer of the poem After the Storm. So here on your screen there is first question, that is, what does what does the speaker describe in the first two lines? Was it just rain or was it a storm? What kind of scene is described in the next two lines? Which words help create a contrast with the picture described at the start of the poem? So as we have discussed the poem, first question is asking about what does the speaker describe in the first two line. Was it just rain or was it a storm? Okay, here there are two questions. Then after, what kinds of scene is described in the next two lines? Next question, which words help create a contrast with the picture described at the start of the point? So we'll see answer. Here you can see that in the first two lines the speaker describes the roaring wind and heavy rain that came one night. Okay, here there is a description of the roaring wind and heavy rain that came on one night. Then the thing that has been mentioned is a storm, because as the poem's name is After the Storm, so the storm is mentioned by the poet. In the next two lines, a beautiful morning after the storm is described, okay, in a joyous tone by the speaker. The words phrase, the sun is rising calm and bright, and the birds are singing sweetly, provide a contrast against the scene of heavy rain and roaring winds described in the first two lines. So here in this way, whatever questions is asked in the first questions, we have the answers like that. Clear? So let's have question number 2. When the speaker says a bird broods over his own sweet voice. Another birds chatter, and the third makes answer. Is that just what he actually hears, or does he imagine what those birds think and mean? So, question is very simple. When the speaker says that a bird broods over his own sweet voice, another bird chatters, and the third makes answer. So, is just what he actually hears, or does he imagine what the birds think and mean? So, let's see. Question number 2. Here you have answer that the speaker hears the birds chirping, but the joyous scene makes him imagine that the birds are speaking to one another as human beings would do. He sees the same joy in the birds and other creatures around. So whatever scene he had in the question, in the poem, you can see that here the speaker perhaps hears the birds chirping, okay, but the joyous scene what he has seen, that makes him imagine that the birds are speaking to one another as we people would do. He can see the same joy in the birds and the other creatures around the speaker. So in this way we have completed answer number 2. Question 3. At Look at the line and all the air. Noise is usually an unpleasant sound. See, noise is usually an unpleasant sound, especially if it is loud enough to fill the air. Does it, however, depend on where the sound comes from and what mood we are in at the time? Very good question. Here you can see that noise are usually comes like an unpleasant sound, especially if it is loud enough to fill in the air. So that is, does it however depend on where the sound comes from and what mood we are at that time? So here answer, you can see that yes, it It depends on how and where the sound comes from, and also the mood we are in at the time. Okay, sometimes why noises are unpleasant and why it is pleasant. So it is depend on our mood. Okay, so yes, it depends on how and where the sound comes from, and also the mood we are in at the time. If we are happy, the scene wood around us is beautiful. The happiness is spread, and all the noises we hear becomes happy sound. So it is all over about our mind, our mood, and also it is also dependent how and from where the sound comes. Clear? So in this way we have discussed question number 3. Now the next question, question 4. All things that love the sun are out of doors. What things does the speaker mention? So let's see. Here, speaker mentioned the stork dove, the jay, the magpie, and the hare. So these creatures have been mentioned by the speaker, by the poet in the poem. The stork dove, the jay, the magpie, and the hare. Okay, these creatures have been mentioned. So, question number 5. Here we have question 5. What do you think the speaker means when he says that the hare is running races? What does he mean when he says the hare is running races? So, here the poet means that the hare is running around so quickly, so much joy and excitement that it appears as if she is running races. Okay, here the poet means that the hare is running around so quickly with so much joy and excitement that it appears as if she is running races. Okay, so question number 1 to 5 we have completed. All these questions you have to write in your copy. We will further move towards the appreciating the poem. Question 1. The bird broods over his own sweet voice. The sky rejoices in the morning birds. Do you like the way of looking at things in nature as if they are human? They are called personification. Put other examples of personification from the poem. In what do they add the beauty to the beauty and effect of the poem? So here writer is mentioned personification. What is personification, student? Is a figure of speech. Okay, personification is a figure of speech in which writer presents non-living things. Okay, non-living things as a living things. Okay, he presents non-living things as living things. There are activity what about a person or a human means a living things does. The same is presented in a non-living thing by the writer. Okay, so let's see answer. Here appreciating question. So personification can be seen with the examples or see the jay makes answer, the magpie chatters, are the air being referred as she. This example of personification make poem alive in the reader's mind. They enhance the beauty of the words by making the scene almost real. So, as I told you, that personification is a figure of speech in which a poet uses non-living things as a living things. Okay. So, what they were description, the imagination was done by the writer. They makes the poem alive in the reader's mind. So in this way they enhance the beauty of the words by making the scene seems almost real. Question number 2. Here we have Question 2. Throughout the poem, the speaker only describes the emotion and feelings of birds and animals after a storm. Does not mention humans. He does not mention humans. Yet upon reading the poem, the poet is able to identify with the feel the same emotion as the birds and animals. How does the poet achieve this? How is he able to make the reader feel the same happiness that the animals and the birds are feelings? Again, a good question. So here we can see the answer. The poet describes the sight and sounds of the moving after the storm in a great detail, forming a very clear picture in reader's mind. These sounds and sights engage them and make them almost experience the scene with him. Him is the poet. On reading the poem, they are able to experience the beauty, brightness, and joy felt by the creatures of the world after a storm. So, students, these things can be described and seen by the poet, how he has mentioned all these things. So, here we have completed all the questions, question 1 to 5, and then after appreciating questions, as students were asking all these questions, so here is your answer. So all question 1 to 5 you will write in your copy, and also appreciating the poem 1 and 2. So these two you have to write in your copy. So students, here we are going to finish it. So thank you so much and have a nice day.